almost move on from your girlfriend, she better dress sexy around the house. The blowjobs got to be 30 minutes to an hour minimum. And they got to happen at least 2 times a day. I want it in the morning. I want it before I go to bed. I want dinner on the table. House better be clean. You better look at me like I'm a... All right, look. Episode 4, Hard Knocks. It was a little mid. It was. Episode 4 was just a little mid. But before we get into that, head over to my Fist Vicious channel. Link is in the comment section. Hit that sub button over there. Show me some love, man. For real. Here's how I look at it. If I'm happy with my girlfriend, I'm not talking to other women. If you're happy with your boyfriend, you're not entertaining other dudes. It's as simple as that. So it's like, Joe Shane can window dress it all he wants to. He was ready to move on for Daniel Jones if he had the opportunity. Even his son, his own son said it. He says, Dad, you only get this job once. You got to pick a quarterback. Even his own son said it. So my thing is this. Daniel Jones has this Kirk Cousins. It's like, it's hard to upgrade your quarterback when he's good enough just to be good enough. So it's like, Daniel Jones is starting to pull a Kirk Cousins. What I mean is, he's just never going to be bad enough to replace him. See, that's why you have to move on from a Kirk Cousins. That's why you have to move on from the Matt Ryans or the Alex Smiths of the world, because they're never actually going to be bad enough. Derek Carr's another one. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. That's like the Mendoza line of quarterbacks who you really don't want, but they're not bad enough to put you in position to replace them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Joe Shane is in a position where it's like, can't really move on from Daniel because we didn't have that bad of a season. But at the same time, I don't want to move forward with Daniel because he's always hurt. And we don't know what he is yet. Well, I know what Daniel is. Joe Shane probably don't know. The point is, if a girl likes you, right, and you don't like her, you go to your other options. You go holler at the server, or you go holler at the bartender, the baddie at the Foot Locker, whatever. And if it don't pan out with those girls, then you go back to the girl that you didn't like, and now she seems prettier. That's what happened on draft day. If like you could tell this episode was just a little bit more altered than the other episodes. I feel like this episode wasn't as, what's the word I'm looking for? They wasn't as open with the dialogue in this episode as they were in the other episodes because they didn't want to offend Daniel. They didn't want to disrespect Daniel. But you can't sit here and tell me they spent more time with them wide receivers than they did with them quarterbacks. As much as they love Jaden Daniels, I didn't know they liked Jaden Daniels that much. They spent way more time with Jaden Daniels than they want you to believe on Hard Knocks. They did. They spent more time with Drake May than they want you to believe on Hard Knocks. They wanted them quarterbacks because you wanted to call it the Patriots 3 hours before the draft if you didn't. So my whole thing is, Daniel got to step his game up because they was ready to replace him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when you almost move on from your girlfriend, she better dress sexy around the house. The blowjobs got to be 30 minutes to an hour minimum. And they got to happen at least 2 times a day. I want it in the morning. I want it before I go to bed. I want dinner on the table. House better be clean. You better look at me like I'm an extraterrestrial being and you happen to be in my presence. You better kiss my ass for me to keep you in my life. And if I'm Daniel Jones, that's what you need to do to the Giants. We need about 25 to 30 touchdowns. We need about 4,500 yards, and we need about 10 wins. If you can't deliver that, making $40 million a year, Danny is up out of here. If there's one thing Hard Knocks has shown me, is that Joe Shane and Brian Dable, and even John Mara was on board with getting a quarterback. They were ready to move on from this guy. So you know what, baby? Yeah, I might have been talking to some other girls. It didn't work out. But now you know I'm willing to walk out that door. So now that you know I'm willing to walk out that door, you're going to have to do some things to stay in my life. So if I'm Daniel Jones, it's like, bruh, these little 10 touchdown seasons, that's not going to cut it no more. You feel me? This whole I'm going to throw 100 yards a game shit, it's not going to cut it no more. He has a contract to live up to. And if I'm noticing the thing from Joe Shane and Brian Dable is they're not afraid to move on from him, period. And John Mara isn't afraid to move on from Danny either because he greenlit the trade. John Mara said, look, we've done this before. We did it to get Eli Manning. If you like a quarterback, you have my blessing to go get him. John Mara didn't come in and say, nah, we ain't doing that. No, Daniel's a guy. No, we just paid Danny $40 million. No, this whole misconception that we had about John Mara running the Giants and John Mara likes Daniel Jones and John Mara loves this and he ain't even like that. My man John Mara just put his hands in his pocket, asked a couple questions, give his 2 cents, and he did. Like, John Mara really not that meddling of a guy. Like, my whole perception on John Mara has changed. You feel me? So, everybody greenlit him. It's like when you, for example, I'm not going to say no names because I don't, a while back, somebody did something to me and I didn't like it. And I was going to do a firing range. I was going to do a live stream firing range with those people in the stream. The hit was greenlit. I had all my top soldiers. They was ready to flood the stream with super chat to control the narrative. I was going to really bury these niggas. But then I changed my mind. Okay? One thing led to another, and it didn't happen. But ever since I actually made the decision to body these niggas, I could do it at any time now. You get what I'm saying? It's like once you make the decision to catch that body, you can always pull that trigger on that person. No matter what they do, you've already mentally made the decision. I'm going to clap this nigga. I'm going to break up with this girl. Once you make that mental decision, it's like when you're at work. Okay, this is the best example I can give you. When you were at work and you quit, you say, fuck my boss, fuck my coworkers, I'm up out of here. But then they talk you into staying. You quit, but they talk you into staying. They might give you a raise, they might change your shift, they might do something to appease you. But you already made that decision to quit. Once you've already made that decision to quit, you could do it again. Oh, it's easy. You could easily do it again. You feel me? So I feel like with the Daniel Jones situation in Hard Knocks, they already made that decision to move on from Danny. If Drake May or Jaden Daniels had actually fell to the Giants, or if the Patriots, I put it to you this way. I bet you my bottom dollar, if Jaden Daniels is at 3, the Giants would have gave the Patriots whatever they wanted. They loved Jaden Daniels. So they made the decision to move off of Danny. If Danny don't perform to the level that he needs to perform to next season, he's out of here. it's easy to do it again. Once you do something once you get over that mental, emotional hurdle of a big decision, it's easy to make it again. You know how many times I've had to gamble for my rent money? You know how many times I've had to put my $12.50 on the line to get my rent paid on the last day because my finances might be messed up? Once you get over the mental and emotional task of knowing that if I lose this bet, I'm going to be homeless, you could do it again. You feel me? You could do it again. Damn. If I don't win this bet, my car note not going to get paid, the insurance ain't going to get paid, and my light bill ain't going to get paid. Let me go take like $4.50 and flip this $4.50. Once you do it once, win, lose, or draw, once you make that decision and you pull that trigger, you could do it again. So what I'm trying to say is, Daniel, watch your back. That's all I'm trying to say. Watch your back. Danny, watch your back, bro. Literally and figuratively, because that bum nigga Evan Neal is opening up on the pub. I'll do a video on that tomorrow. But it is what it is, man. The Malik Nabers thing, like, I feel like they wanted Malik Nabers, but we knew they wanted Malik Nabers. So it's like, it was crazy to hear them say, like Tim Groh, the wide receiver coach, it was crazy to see the wide receiver coach say that I'll take Nabers over Marvin Harrison. Nick Saban, Malik Nabers, Brock Bowers. Brian Dable, I want Malik Nabers over Roma Dunze. So it's pretty obvious that Malik Nabers was the guy. So I don't think they had to doctor that. I think what they doctored was how much quarterback discussions they have. I think they edited that part out because they didn't get a quarterback. But Malik Nabers is the guy, bro. Like it's pretty clear that they wanted Malik Nabers. Even if Marvin Harrison was there, they was going with Malik Nabers. So that's good to know. And I really ain't got much else to say, man. I love Brian Dable though. Hey, yo, check this out, right? This is how you know Brian Dable is a hothead. He's too calm. Brian Dable reminds me of me a lot. It's like the more angry as a person I became, the more calm I became. Like, let me explain something to you real quick, right? I normally say discussions like this for my Fist Vicious channel, but I'm gonna drop a jewel on you, right? The angry, most dangerous people are the calm ones. It's the ones who know how to control their anger and conduct themselves like civilized human beings are the ones with the worst tempers. I'm just letting you know that now. If you see a dude who has a reputation for being a hothead, if you see a dude who has a reputation for being a little crazy, but he's the calmest person in the room, please stay away from that person. Because those are the people that understand that they have problems. Like, if you look at Brian Dable, the way he jokes about his temper, the way he kicks his feet up on in the coaches, like, Brian Dable is way too controlled. This is a man that has practiced calming the fuck down. I can see it a mile away because I'm the same way. If you meet me off camera and you meet me face to face, I'm overly nice. I'm overly funny and I'm overly approachable. You're not going to get that anger from me unless you set me off. If I hit one of my triggers, you better look out. But because I understand I have anger problems, because I understand something's wrong with me, I go out my way to conduct myself like everything is okay. Brian Dable is the walking embodiment of a dude who wants to put a hole through the wall, but understands he can't do that because he wants to keep his job. Shout out to Brian Dable. I feel your pain, bro. We right here with that. But anyway, that's it. That's all. Hit the like button. Hit the sub button. Drop the FUs in the comments if you rockin' with me. And stay vicious. Dismiss.